Hi, my name is Kylie McMullen,
And I'm Paul Nixie.
and this is PR Today. So, Paul,
Yes.
today we were going to talk about tragedy. It was recently September 11th, and a lot of brands made some big mistakes. In fact, the Globe and Mail ran an article yesterday about the biggest mistakes they saw on Twitter on September 11th. And, talking about tragedy and is it ever appropriate to try to use it to sell your service or product or brand?
Right. September 11th is a word that needs no explanation. It immediately conjures up all kinds of emotions and strong feelings. It was a national tragedy, certainly for the U.S., but also around the world. We are now 12 years out, and we're seeing some brands try to pay tribute to it, but also slip in some product mentions or somehow position themselves as being associated with the memory of this, and it almost always backfires.
I don't think I've seen a good example yet.
Right.
In terms of, mentioned in the Globe and Mail article yesterday, there was AT&T tried to do like a Let's Remember with a phone in front of the New York skyline, and people took very much offense. Esquire apparently tried to do something where they showed a man falling from the building and said something about improve your commute to work.
Yeah, they had a wrong headline on there, and they reacted when people pointed it out. They reacted in this terrible way, saying, "Calm down, everyone."
Yeah, it felt very snarky
and insensitive.
For sure. And then also, kind of relatedly, Kenneth Cole has gotten into a lot of trouble for both during the Egyptian demonstrations and then recently with Syria, having tweeted off the cuff kind of remarks about, boots on the ground or people rioting.
Buy our fabulous boots.
Buy our fabulous boots.
They're rioting for our pants. These kind of things. Kenneth Cole is notorious for stepping in it on Twitter. We think that he probably manages his own Twitter account, and he apparently is unrepentant about this. You were saying earlier that he...
Yeah, I guess he's come out, that this is part of his edgy kind of brand and voice.
Right. So it draws all kinds of attention to Kenneth Cole, but is it good attention?
Yeah. And I would say probably no.
Not so much.
I would say, for all those people who, want to do an off-the-cuff tweet or Facebook message regarding any kind of tragedy, you're going to look like a jerk. It's just kind of the bottom line.
Yeah.
There's no nice way to do it unless it's the most, almost banal way. Like,
you've got to come back to... for me, it always comes back to... Are you trying to promote yourself, or are you trying to actually pay tribute to something? Budweiser ran a great, it's kind of strikes a balance of those things. They ran a spot where they had their Clydesdale horses in I think Central Park, looking at the spot where the towers were, and in this spot the horses just bow their heads, and that was it. Logo at the end, no words.
Yeah.
Very, quite a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
But not
feels more appropriate.
Trying to sell a can of beer to you.
Yeah.
It felt more authentic, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
So maybe that's a good. So I would say maybe rule of thumb: if in doubt, don't.
Don't.
And if you are, make sure you run it by some people, maybe get some reactions, people, outside of your company who may have a different perspective, and make sure it's done in the most sensitive of ways.
Microsoft Bing is another example. They offered to donate $1 to victims of, I think it was a flood or it was a tragedy, and they said for every retweet of this, we'll donate $1.
Yeah.
And Twitter exploded. People were saying, why don't you just donate the money?
Yeah.
Does it have to be tied to us promoting your brand?
Yeah.
So again, are you putting the interests of your brand
first,
or are you trying to actually, in an authentic way, honor the memory of whatever's happening or respond?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
So
I think that makes sense.
there it is.
Well, thank you for joining us. That's all for PR Today.